Hey everyone, and welcome back to Marketing 100, where Kayle and I are on a mission to share 100 marketing ideas to help you level up your salon business. And one of the most scarce resources we all have today is our time.
Your clients are busy, right? And that's something that we have to keep in mind more than ever. So today, what I want to talk about is offering express services at your salon business. I can't tell you how many clients I've had who skip a blow dry because they don't have the extra 30 to 45 minutes because that time is so valuable to them that they'd rather walk out wet. Post-COVID, fast beauty services saw something like a 26% increase across the board, right, for service industries. Things like express facials, quickie color appointments, dry bar services, like the demand for these fast services isn't going away. And this is actually kind of a win-win, to be honest. Like one of the reasons that barbering, for instance, is so lucrative is because of the low service time. I've worked with a lot of barbers and I have a lot of friends that are still in the industry. And the fact that they can serve, 16 plus clients a day and keep their chair full all day long means steady income and it means high demand, right? And part of that high demand is nailing that price point. First of all, like that is important, but also making that service worth your time as a stylist or a service provider. Yeah, your service should still provide great color. It should, be a great dry style. It should be a great whatever it is, but giving them some time back is a value to them. And it's something that you can command a higher price point for because they still get the bulk of the service, but they can also get that added value of being able to get some time back in their day and do the things that they need to do that aren't sitting in a chair for hours on end. Now, I want to be really clear on this. Like these services should still command the lion's share of the full service price. That shouldn't change. Like this should still be a major percentage of what you would charge for a full service if they were to stay the entire time. And that's part of making it valuable for you. The discount shouldn't incentivize people to not get a full service. Think of these services as sort of a gap filler and a value add for people who just don't have time on a certain day. Like those things are very important to keep in your mind and in the way that you portray these services. This is a really great way, though, to actually get your clients to come back more often, to get touch-ups or to get, smaller services here, and also give yourself more opportunities to sell or recommend product as well. Like we said earlier, the more chances that you have to sell, the more times that a client is in the doors of your business or in your chair, the more opportunities that you have to sell to them. And all of those things are a plus. And express services are also a great way to get walk-ins into your newer or growing stylist chairs as well. This is a really easy way to sort of have a low commitment entry point into your business, into getting into a stylist chair and getting a service done, where you can establish that relationship and continue to build it over time, right? Like we all know that a client is far more likely to come back to a business that they came to and had a good service in the first place. If you have somebody who wants to just get a dry style or just wants to get a color with no blow dry or whatever like that. I know a lot of businesses, a lot of like stylists maybe will like groan over that, right? Because they're like, oh, they're not going to come back, or they just want a quick color that I have to charge less for. And I think the thinking there that's incorrect is that they're charging far too little for that service, right? Like just because you're not doing the blow dry doesn't mean that you shouldn't be charging 75% of your service price. There has to be a value placed on what you're actually providing for that person. And if that service that you're providing is giving them that time back, giving them great color, but also letting them have that time to go do something else they need to do, that blow dry is just a small percentage of your service. You should still be charging a large amount for the color that you are providing. Maintaining quality is still important, and so is showcasing your culture and your personality. That's a big part about what this is about. We talked about, having a culture that's focused on providing great service to clients, that's about not being forced to sell, but being prescriptive and recommending all these things that are sort of built in. And this is no different, right? Like this is an opportunity to showcase the incredible personality that your stylists have and to start a relationship, to start building that professional relationship with their clients, to get them in the chair, to touch their hair, to build on that relationship. Maintaining quality is hugely important here because you want this person to still walk away wowed, even if they're not getting what would normally be the full service with the blowout and with everything else. Quick doesn't mean lower quality, and that should be communicated very well to your client through what they walk away with and the experience they get when they're in the chair. The service should still be excellent, but the time it takes should ideally demand a higher margin than even a full version of that service, right? That's what we're talking about here is efficiency, the maximum profit for the least amount of time. So if you're going to offer a service like this that potentially would compromise what you can offer, In this case, again, that margin needs to be high.
Setting the right expectations if you're building out, as you said, this service category on your menu so that people are clear that this is the express version of the service, let's say, and that the expectations on what are they compromising on because they're saving on time, what is that? Considering that for your brand as well, what is your brand about? And what do you value as a brand? Because it might be like this does not rhyme with your philosophy as well, that you're a place for like tranquility and like having your space and the me time. Like you might be more in that direction. Maybe you shouldn't offer an express service. Or you're more in kind of that like business territory area where you have like career folks who are like popping out in the lunch break to get their nails done or hair done, where like the express component is a very key one, then this might be something that you want to play higher, right? So I think it's one of those where you need to kind of see how does this fit with my brand, and then making sure that we're kind of setting expectations on quality and are maintaining quality within the scope of what is our express service versus what are our regular services. Using express services could really be a way to get something more booked with that client, something that is like a shorter, quicker thing that you can just like add as a nice add-on as well to whatever they're booking in for. This is like a theme that we keep coming back to, I think, throughout this series, different ways of leveraging add-ons to increase the service value. And your express services is certainly one way that you could be doing that.
Add-ons are a great way to be able to pack in the most amount of value and the most amount of revenue for the least amount of time. So the more services that you can do concurrently, like overlapping, the more that you can actually, pull out of this particular situation. You can create packages that are for people on the go. Understanding the types of customers that come in for these things, a busy business person, right? They're on their lunch break. They want to get the things they need to get done. And I guarantee you somebody who has a very limited time span like that is willing to pay more for services that give them convenience and a good quality end product, right? So maybe that is bundling in an eyebrow wax, a lip wax. It's a color, no blow dry, but you add on a conditioning treatment as well. If they're going to leave wet, you put on a conditioning treatment, it's a leave-in, they put it up in a bun, they can wash it later. Like consider where they're going after this, what they're doing after this, and build the service package around that. It's about finding a way to cater to the needs of those personas in a way that gives them value and makes them feel understood, makes them feel like this is for them. It was made for them. People are willing to pay way more for those kinds of things if they feel thoughtful, well thought out, And the focus should be on time here, like guaranteeing that you can have somebody out by a certain time. That is like your greatest selling point ever for these services. Like we can have you out of here and back to work in 45 minutes or whatever. And delivering on that promise is super important. So find ways to build these into your services if it makes sense for you, right? Like if you're a luxury business and you feel like this doesn't work for your model, that's understandable. Think about that. Put some actual thought into that, because this is an incredible way to lift your average ticket, to get clients in and out faster, and to provide value that they do find actually brings value to their lives.
Another way that I've also seen people doing who are using the Mango Mint platform, there's a feature called service customizations. The client can actually customize the service when they book in, meaning you can kind of choose options that will increase or decrease the duration of the appointment time, or increase or decrease the price. It could be that you're booking in for that core service and you can ask the question, do you want the express version? This is what that means. And even like for some services, it could even be like getting the express version could actually mean a higher price on the service depending on how you execute it. So it could in fact be an upsell as well.
There's really a lot of ways that you can tackle this and provide value. And it's really like, this is one of those things where like we talk about like loss leaders for businesses. This should not be a loss leader for you, but think of it in terms of like a loss leader is a reason to get somebody in the door. Target's a great example. You go to Target to get one thing, and then you end up buying 5 or 6 things. Black Friday, there's a reason why Black Friday exists. People come in for one thing that they get super cheap, and then they end up buying other stuff that actually has a higher margin. It might actually be at a higher price than it was before. The more services you add into something, the more price obfuscation there is, and the more room for time to be valuable and bundling to be valuable, and the lack of thought on their part that they need to do to get this done is valuable. So the less your clients have to think, the quicker they can get in and out, and the more services that you can pack into a time period where you can still provide excellent service, but a value of time as well, the better off you're going to be. and the more profit that you're going to be able to make on your services.
All right, everyone. That's what we had for you today. Thanks for tuning in to Marketing 100. Kayle and I are back here every week with snackable tactics and ideas to help you grow your salon business. Express services is definitely one of them. Is this something that you're working with today? Give us a yes or no in the comments below so we can get a sense for if this is a strategy that is working for you, or maybe you have something else that you want to add. And we look forward to seeing you inside of an upcoming video.